Hi folks, and today we're going to look at doing something useful with Jack. We're going to take the input from my guitar and we're going to process it using a guitar effects processor called Guitarix. I just want to review the settings that I'm using here. I've got my desk set up with the Firewire card, you've seen me do that before, and I've got the desk set so that you can only hear the output from the Firewire card. I can put my guitar on the stereo bus. We won't hear that through the monitor speakers because we're only hearing the output from the sound card. So the first time we're going to hear the guitar playing is when the sound is going into the computer, through Jack, through Guitarix, back through Jack, and back out of the Firewire card, and then into the monitor speakers. Okay. So I'm going to start the screen grab here so that I can cut into that. And I'll just review the settings I'm using on Jack. They're the same as you've seen me use before. I've got the Firewire driver here. I'm using, I'll see if I can lower that actually. We'll go for 128 frames per period, 2 periods here. That gets it down to 5.8 milliseconds. That's really quite quick. I mean, certainly for my guitar skills, that's amply fast enough. If you were a real shredhead, that might still be slow, but I'm not. So I'm going to start Jack here. My guitar is plugged into the desk, and it is assigned to the right channel. So that means that when I switch it to group, it will be coming through group 2, which on the Firewire card I know is input number 4. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to get the connections box up here, and like I always do, I'm going to disconnect all before I make a start. I'm going to enlarge the Firewire outputs there, and to be honest, I think I might full screen that because we might need that later. So I'm going to go over here into the Applications menu, Audio Production, Effects, and here is Guitarix. I really like this. I think the look is probably something similar to Amplitude. I've never actually used Amplitude, but I think it's similar. I seem to remember I've seen it. So I'm going to full screen that over here. I guess you'll have seen similar things to this before. We'll get onto this Guitarix itself later. But what we're interested in at the moment is the connections on Jack. So I'm going to enlarge the pull-down menus here. We can see that line 3, 4 right in, that is my guitar, is coming in to the guitar head amp over here. Then, if we look at the guitar head amp over here, the output from that, which is, as you can see, a mono output, is going across here into the Guitarix head effect here, which is a mono input. Over here, we can see the guitar head effects is now a stereo output. There will be some stereo effects on that. It's things like stereo, reverb, stereo, delay, things like that. If you trace these lines up here, is going to output 1 and 2 on the Firewire card there. And those outputs are coming straight into the desk. So, I was expecting to have to do all this manually. In the past when I've used this, I have had to do this manually. Let me disconnect them and show you how that would be done. So, I'm basically now going to set up what you've just seen. I would drag the correct input over to the amp head. I would grab the output from that, I would drag that across the effects head, and I would drag the outputs from that across here to the output on my Firewire card. That's all I've just dragged and dropped to set that all back up. And now we should, if I arm the group bus, we should hear that we have some noise coming out of my desk, and when I play the guitar you can hear it coming through the desk. Then we come over here to Guitarix itself. Really handy, we have a tuner. You can see I'm just a little bit flat, etc. This is just tone controls here with various presets. The amp head here with just clean and gain sort of sounds, and a cab modeler here as well. So we can do a couple of things. We can use some of the presets down here. I quite like the Studio Dave presets. Only single click. The single click will bring the preset up. Nice. Just a nice kind of, I guess, sort of twin reverb sort of sound. What have we got here? A little bit different, acoustic kind of. Something like that. Some of them are very, very strange. You get this on all kind of effects sort of things, don't you? You know, some really odd presets. This is perhaps not so bad as a lot, but. Quite usable. Alternatively, we can look at doing our own things over here. We can, if we want some reverb, we can use various reverb processors here. Double click, it comes down here. You can switch it on and off using the on-off switch there. Room size and dry wet, so we've got quite a dry sound there. We'll put it sort of halfway. And you can hear we've got the reverb coming out there. That was the free verb I think I put on there. There'll be others like plates and stuff like that. Delays, guitar effects, what we've got here. Oh, we've got a cry baby wah. It's quite nice. Let's have quite a wet signal there. I'm guessing this will be an auto wah. Oh, that's manual. We'll switch it on. Auto there. We'll switch it on. We'll make it quite. I've set quite a wet signal, so I need to turn the level up. Etc. etc. There we go. So what we've done there is we've used the jack back end to make connections between the physical world on our desk and Firewire card into the guitar effects processor, and we've got the sound to come back out. Now that's of course just the beginning. I've used this in quite a few different ways. When I teach, I like to have myself and my pupils both plugged into the desk, because that way I can control everything from a single point. Also, if I have small groups, I can plug everything into the desk. So in the past I've had it where I've had two separate instances of Guitarix running at the same time, and I've had me plugged into one and my pupils plugged into the other. And what I've done there is I've had input 3 on the Firewire card feed in one instance, input 4 feed in the other, but both the outputs come in stereo into the same speakers. You could put the outputs however you want. For example, we don't have to have output 0, which is essentially left, going to left out, and output 1, which is right, going to right out. We could force that to mono by putting them both to the same. You won't be able to hear this because I'm not recording in stereo, but now my sound is only coming out of the single speaker. So if I was using this as a twin kind of teacher-pupil setup, I'd perhaps be able to have me coming out of a single speaker, my pupil coming out of a single speaker, so it's very, very useful indeed. The other way that you can use this, of course, is you could be recording the affected signal with your DAW as you play. I hope this has been useful. We'll look at some more useful things to do next time. I hope you join me then.